Ladies and gentlemen, we watched this grow from the time when it was just, this concept was a vision. And this man, keep the applause going, Torch. This man had 100% confidence and faith in that vision at a time when doors would not open. At a time when phone calls would not be returned. This man was marching and taking this concept of pass the mic to bring all genres of all music from that goes back over 5 decades, over 220 artists to date, and counting, to the world. At a time when the world needed healing, get this man a round of applause. He's a contributor. He's not just a customer. You have to understand that. He's a producer. He's a cultural curator. He's brought us into the new year. He's got us through the pandemic. He's brought back to the surface some of the greatest artists of all time with his concept of pass the mic. And the next one, which you do not want to miss, he came to the hottest city in the country when it comes to music culture. He's bringing it to Los Angeles at the Kia Forum Arena, February 14th. Tickets available at Ticketmaster.com. In Vogue, Fabulous, Ja Rule, Lil Kim, Maya, Busta Rhymes, Ashanti, and many more. The one and only DJ Cassidy is in the building. Give it up for DJ Cassidy.
I'm at a loss of words from that introduction, Sway.
2-time Grammy nominee. #1 R&B hit we just played is Still Believe in Love. Gold certified single, Kill the Lights. Ladies and gentlemen, DJ Cassidy.
Sway, I'm rarely at a loss for words, but that was quite an introduction. I feel very unworthy.
Hold
you
up.
and Heather,
Come on.
hip-hop icons, always an honor to be in your presence, to speak to you, the ultimate cultural voice. So everything you said means the world to me, and I'm truly honored to be sitting here once again, as you've been here throughout my entire journey, not just the journey of Pass the Mic over the past 5 years. So thank you. Thank you, Heather. I appreciate you both so much.
Oh, absolutely, man. #1 Billboard Dance Club record. Over 500 million digital views. Now, yo, I'm so proud of this dude, man. I used to go to your parties, man. I used to be in the clubs with you.
Yep.
And then watch you navigate your way through the Jay-Z and Beyonce parties, from where there's nobody that's well known in the clubs to now you've created this global platform, Pass the Mic. And one of the things you did that you held consistent, and I think it's very important, is you always had your hat and your gold microphone, citizens. That's his signature right there. Why be the most important thing about him?
Well, I always looked up to Run DMC and Jam Master Jay.
Right.
Since I was a young child. And I always wanted to look like the superstars that they were. And when you looked at Run DMC and Jam Master Jay, and of course my non-hip-hop hero Michael Jackson, you could recognize these 4 guys by their silhouette.
Yeah, this is true.
With no facial features, with an outline of their body, from their hat, from their glasses, from the length of their pants, from their gold chain. Run, DJ, Michael. Their silhouettes were iconic. And they walked and talked and performed and held themselves like superstars. And at the same time, it felt effortless.
Yeah.
And I always admired that. And so a lot of the things you see, like my signature boater hat, the gold microphone, and the list goes on, came from those early inspirations as a child.
Same here. For me, it was Run DMC. It was LL Cool J, right? Rakim. There were certain people that I even took cues from, because self-branding was always important. Is how you identified yourself, and then that's also which encourages radical differentiation, right? And so wherever you go, even if I didn't know you were there, oh, that's Cassidy over there. Cassidy's here. Who, in your opinion, what artists in this modern day era have that same effect, that same impact that Run DMC, Jam Master Jay, and Michael Jackson has?
Wow. It's a really great question, and it's not an easy answer.
Yeah.
I actually have to think. There's not one person that comes to immediate minds whose silhouette comes close to theirs. You know, in an interesting way, I still believe that, I've said this many times, that's why I say still believe, if an alien came from outer space and said to me, what is hip-hop? I would still show them a picture of Run DMC and play Sucker MCs.
Absolutely.
All these years later. I don't think anything's come close to embodying the image and the sound, even though the image and sound has evolved in so many ways. But I think nothing has touched that level of perfect, iconic symbolism.
That's Run. What do you think, HB?
I would have to agree.
Okay.
I think it's I mean, it's Run DMC, but it's always been Run DMC for me, and it's hard because we don't want to compare. I mean, it's tough to do that, but for me, the entryway, the goal always is Run DMC.
Run DMC.
Yeah, 100%. And I mean, this song right here was the separator at a time when hip hop, there was a pattern going on, and this shifted everything.
Take a listen.
This song.
Years ago, a friend of mine asked me to sing some MC rhyme, so I said this rhyme I'm about to say. The rhyme was there, but then it went this way. Took a test
way.
to become an MC.
And what happened?
Became amazed at me, so Larry put me inside.
Put me inside. It's catch a lack. The chauffeur drove off and we never came back. Dave cut the record down to the bone.
Now what?
Now they got me rocking on the microphone.
What you talking?
Talking autographs.
What else?
Champagne, caviar, and bubble bath. And see ya, that's the life that I lead. And you sucker MCs, it's hook a beat. Back, move back, catch a heart attack. Because there's nothing in the world
that run ever lack.
Chill out, now party in a B-boy stand.
Rock on the mic and
Make the girls wanna dance.
Fly like what?
Fly like a dove.
Come on.
I come from up above.
What?
You're rocking on the mic.
What's your
you
name?
Call me One Love.
Come on,
bounce to
real
the
up,
beat
real
one
up.
time. Come on. I said bounce to the beat two time. Come on.
Sway, I mean, with us being East Coasters, did that song have the same impact on the West Coast? I know you remember the day it dropped.
Oh my gosh.
I know you remember how your body felt. It wanted to jump out of your skin when that beat dropped and you heard the command in their voices. And then, I'm DMC, is the place to be. I went to
St. John University.
And
Since kindergarten, I acquired the knowledge. And after 12th grade, I went straight to college.
I'm light skinned and I live in Queens. I mean,
Come
what
on.
was happening on the West Coast when that dropped?
Man, shout out to my brother T. Calloway. Cassidy,
Okay.
I got an older brother and older sister, and my brother and I used to share rooms in my mother's house in East Oakland. So he's my older brother, so he ran the jukebox. So anything we listened, I had to listen to what T. Calloway listened to.
Gotcha.
And so it was, Criminal Minded. It was, early Rapper's Delight. It was Sequence. It was groups like Treacherous 3. First time we heard Sucker MCs, that I heard, I was at our cousin Chuck's house.
Chuck, okay.
And Chuck had a nice little stereo system at that time. And the energy that was encapsulated by the confidence and the just audacity of Run DMC with all of that identity that they possess. Like when you looked at them, you knew it. This has a history. They didn't fall on these outfits. Like there's a movement or something happening somewhere where they wear Adidas with no shoestrings on. There's a movement happening somewhere where they wear these hats a certain way and they wear this leather and they walk a certain way. Like Run was the persona, right? And so when we heard that, it just felt like something fell out of the sky that talked to us, that we could relate to. It just landed on our hearts. I stopped listening almost to other genres of music for a while because of rap, right? You know, I knew soul and R&B because of the household I grew up in, but nothing else mattered. And the attitude that they had, I would listen to Suck MCs before I went into job interviews.
To hype you up.
To hype me up.
To hype you up.
Those are your
I'm dead
affirmations.
ass. Yeah, I listen to Sucker to remember the attitude, the mindset I want to walk in every room with was Sucker MCs. So,
and the crazy thing is, it's so perfect and at the same time so effortless.
Yeah.
You know, they stripped it all down to the core. Mm-hmm. And that's why I still feel to this day that song and their imagery is so representative of hip-hop.
mm-hmm.
They're the ultimate. They're my ultimate heroes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, you know, when I produced Pass the Mic Volume 2,
Mm-hmm.
there was only one group that could set that off. You know, Volume 1 was set off by Earth, Wind, and Fire.
Man, but that's my favorite. That's my favorite of all time. It's Earth, Wind, and Fire. But go ahead.
The greatest. Well, we
Yes.
should talk about Earth, Wind, and Fire.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. So Volume 2. How do you match that? Where do you go from there? If your first episode is a celebration of soul music and you start with Earth, Wind, and Fire, and your second episode is a celebration of hip hop, there's only one phone call to make, or should I say, only two phone calls to make.
That's right. Yeah, because you got to make two. I love it. DJ Cassidy is here. We're talking about Pass the Mic. That's happening February 14th. Tickets are available at Ticketmaster.com. We were talking about Mtume when I played the Still Believe in Love song. Mtume, if you will, is who rest in power. Is one of those music juggernauts that has been one of the most sampled artists in hip hop culture of all time. And you know, you got a chance to work with his music, which isn't easy to do. You got to get clearance from his family. Shout out to Fa. Shout out to Damu and Mtume, who passed as well. What was your experience like working with Mtume? And then I got a second part to that question. Having worked with so many different legendary artists, what has been some of the most emotional moments you experienced with Pass the Mic?
So many emotional moments. Mtume, the word legend doesn't do him justice. R&B, funk, soul, New Yorker.
Yeah.
My first experience with Mtume was on my Mother's Day edition of Pass the Mic that I produced that aired on BET.
Yeah.
And that show featured the greatest Quiet Storm records of all time. So for those listening who might not be familiar with the term Quiet Storm, it's a term that was created to describe a type of R&B and soul music and a genre of R&B radio. Down-tempo R&B, ballads, kind of R&B rare grooves. Am I describing that how you would describe it? And so that episode featured Patti LaBelle on the front end.
Yeah.
Gladys Knight as the closer.
Right.
Valerie Simpson.
Woo.
Shirley Jones of the Jones Girls. Karen White. Albie Shore. The list goes on and on. Vanessa Williams. The Force MDs.
Yeah. Love is
And
a house.
I so wanted Mtume to do Juicy Fruit on this episode. So Bow-Legged Lou, a full force, who's a dear friend and became a partner in crime in Pass the Mic, helped me reach out to so many artists whom I didn't know. He introduced me to Mtume's son, Fa, who's an amazing guy. And he knew all about the show. And he said he would run it by his father, but that he was skeptical because it didn't feel like something his father would typically do.
Yeah.
His father was a instrumentalist. His father was a musician, not so much a vocalist. And my show really needed you to be vocal. Although I did have Radine White play bass and Marcus Miller play bass and Nia Rogers play guitar. So he said, you know what?
Wait, was that a stunt right there?
What did so.
Did he just stand on his
It wasn't trying to be.
Okay.
It wasn't trying to be. Mike Muse, hello, I see you.
What's up, Cass?
Hey, Mike. Old friend Mike Muse.
Oh,
Love you,
man.
Mike. So I said to Fa, is there any way you could get me on the phone with your father? So I end up on the phone, James Mtume, and I don't go right into the episode. I tell him about me.
Yeah.
About my journey as a DJ, how hip-hop led me to soul music, and how soul music got me hot in hip-hop.
Okay. Yeah. Isn't that something? Right.
And I spent 90% of the phone call telling him about that journey and 10% of the phone call telling him about how it all foreshadowed Pass the Mic and how much his music, particularly Juicy, is so important to hip-hop. And how I had this mission with Pass the Mic, many missions, but one mission, of course, to celebrate our musical heroes.
Right.
Another mission to bridge the gaps between generations. And I said, if I'm producing an episode of all Quiet Storm classics, I want some of these classics to speak to the hip-hop generation, and what more perfect song than Juicy?
Juicy, there it is.
And he was sold, and they said, well, we need one person to take part with us, Tawatha AG. So Tawatha is the voice of the Mtume song, Juicy Fruit.
Okay.
And,
all right.
Yeah, okay.
And,
You better pull.
and so I met Tawatha, and next thing you know, we're filming the show with Tawatha and Mtume, and the rest is history. And a couple years later, I'm producing a body of work for Mary J. Blige. I'm sampling COD by Mtume. Song needs to be cleared. They don't clear much. Call back Fa. His father had passed away not too long before.
Yeah.
And they cleared the sample. It became Mary's first #1 hit in, I'm forgetting exactly how many years. And Still Believe in Love was a #1 R&B record.
There you go. See, relationships, history, passion. Shout out to Fa. Fa, you remember the time
Shout out to Fa.
we was hanging out at Damu's apartment in Jersey, Fa, and I took you down in video games?
Wow.
Fa remembers that.
Wow.
Let me tell you
Fa's
something.
like my little brother. I got it.
I know.
And Fa holds down his father's legacy.
Absolutely.
In a way like I've never seen before from a family member. He holds his father on a pedestal.
Absolutely.
And does a tremendous job to not only keep the legacy alive, but to grow the legacy of Mtume and the music he created.
DJ Cassidy is here. We're going to come back to the emotional moments that has taken place with Pass the Mic. I want to hear some of those moments. We got Chrissy B, Mike Muse, Tracy G, Heather here. Everybody has questions. Citizens, Pass the Mic is happening February 14th. Fabulous, Ja Rule, Lil Kim, Maya, Shanti, Busta Rhymes, special guest.
Surprise guests. They're going to be there. Tickets on sale, Ticketmaster.com. And I can't forget one of the greatest vocal groups of all time from one of the greatest places in the world. The Bay, In Vogue. If you want to talk to DJ Cassidy, 888-742-3345. Call us now.
Listen to them girls sing, man. They must be from some place Well, they must breed them like this. It must be from a very talented location. Tracy to sing like that. That grit.
It's in the air over there.
Yeah, man, it's in the air. That's in vogue. They'll be performing February 14th at Pass the Mic at the Keon Forum Arena, but also remember the Pass the Mic Bay Area tribute that was done at the All-Star Game.
Yes.
Curated by this one right here, our guest today, DJ Cassidy.
Yes.
He must have felt special to get Too Short, to get E40, to get In Vogue, and all those folks to...
Last year, right around now, almost exactly a year ago, the fires were burning in L.A.
Mm-hmm.
And I left my home to stay in a hotel for a couple days because they said my area was at risk. And I got a call from the producers of the NBA All-Star Game, very quickly asking me if I would be interested in producing a Pass the Mic halftime performance in tribute to the Bay. And I didn't quite understand that at first. I said, on TV? And they say, yeah. And I said, on the court? And they say, yeah. And I say, live? And they say, yeah. And I say, in 4 weeks? And they say, yeah. And I said, do you have any artists in mind? And they said, we defer to you. That's why we're calling. So 48 hours later, we had Too Short committed, E40 committed, Saweetie committed, and En Vogue committed.
Wow.
And I produced that 6 minutes like it was the last 6 minutes of my life.
Yeah.
And I didn't sleep or stop for 4 weeks. Every second of the music meticulously reproduced and edited and assembled, and every second of the visuals and every single person's coordinating outfits and the 24 dancers and their choreography and outfits. And I was a part of every single detail. And it was the first time we did anything with Pass the Mic on live television.
Mm-hmm.
There, of course, had been the 10 episodes of the show. There had been Dick Clark's New Year's Rockin' Eve. This was the first time we were, without 1 second of delay, on live television.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever been so nervous in my life.
Yeah, man.
But I was so pleased with the 6-minute product when I watched it back in my trailer 5 minutes after it ended. And such an honor to be called by the NBA, such an honor to be a part of All-Star Weekend, which is such an important weekend in sports, but in hip-hop culture too.
Mm-hmm.
All the hip-hop always comes out for All-Star Weekend, and I always said to share a stage. In this case, it was to share a court. But to share a stage with musical icons will always be the greatest gift of my life. And it's really like a level 2 greatest gift. Level 1 was the greatest artist knowing my name. That's all I ever wanted. As a 10-year-old DJ, my parents bought me turntables and a mixer for my 10th birthday. As a 10-year-old DJ, there were no dreams of anything I'm doing now.
Mm-hmm.
And most of the things I've done in my career when I dreamt of, I didn't really think that big. The only dream I would have ever told you that I had at age 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 was from my favorite rappers to know my name.
Yeah.
For Run to know my name, for DMC to know my name, for Tretch to know my name, for Q-Tip to know my name. That was it. So for me to share a stage with my favorite artists, for me to have friendships with my favorite artists is the greatest gift that I could ask for.
Let me ask you this. You've done now many stages. At one point, he was walking around neighborhoods like a used car salesman, just trying to get anybody to open the door to let him in with this vision. And now you've hit all of these stages. And still yet, when you talk about the All-Star performance, you said, I treated that 6 minutes like it was the last 6 minutes. Off mic, you told me, every pass the mic I do, I treat it like it could be my last one, right? And every one I've done, I understand how important and how blessed I am to have done it. Why at this stage in your career do you still treat each one or these magical moments like it could be your last?
Well, I don't feel like my name deserves to be on the marquee of the Kia Forum. My name is on the marquee of the Kia Forum because I'm sharing a stage with icons. Mm-hmm. And I give all the praise and all the credit for Pass the Mic to the hundreds of legendary hip-hop and R&B superstars that have taken part. 220 icons on the TV series and over 150 and counting in the live show. And, you know, when I brought Pass the Mic to Radio City Music Hall in my hometown for hip-hop's 50th anniversary, it was the second Pass the Mic live concert, July 21st, 2023. And it was the first time that, out of the two, that I was able to get all the performers in a huddle before we took the stage. So this show featured 20 New York native hip-hop icons of the golden era. Slick Rick, Dougie Fresh, KRS-One, Rakim, Big Daddy Kane, the list goes on.
They all came out.
And I got everyone in a huddle and we held hands, and I had to tell everyone how I felt. And I said, my name might be on that marquee, but they're here because of you.
Yeah.
They're here to see you. And that's really how I feel. So I walk on those stages treating it like it's my first and it's my last. To bring Pass the Mic to LA for the first time, where I now live for the past decade, to the city's most iconic venue, is something that I have trouble comprehending. You know, I'm from New York City, home of Madison Square Garden, but I was never into sports. I was into hip-hop. Mm-hmm. The only thing about sports that ever really captivated me as a child was the Showtime Lakers. Mm-hmm. Mm. So when I took Pass the Mic on the road, I dreamt of playing the Forum.
And now, February 14th, he's playing the Forum. Woo! Give it up for DJ Cassidy. Let me let the crew get in, Cassidy, because we only got so much time left. Chrissy B is here from Sway's Universe. Chrissy B didn't even know I was going to put her on the mic. She came to observe.
I didn't. I was taking show notes, you know?
Okay.
Well, congratulations. I love that you stated, you know, you talked about the Forum. You know, I'm from LA. I'm born and raised. So that is such a historical place to perform for the first time. So I just want to say congratulations on that.
Thank you so
As
much.
an LA native, I'm going to be there. Now that I know, it's on Valentine's Day, too.
All you guys there. It's on
Yes.
Valentine's Day,
Yes.
NBA All-Star Weekend, which is so serendipitous because of last year's show.
Yeah, that's amazing, by the way. So congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
It means the world.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm going to let Mike jump in that, too. You got a question for your good, long-time buddy friend?
Mike.
I know Mike was dancing on many tables at your parties, Cassidy.
Oh, Mike's been to many DJ Cassidy dance floors.
Oh, yeah.
As you have, Sway.
Yes.
When we
Over the decades.
absolutely
From New York to LA and beyond.
Yeah, me and Mike was in the same club.
Same spot.
I seen Mike.
We were talking about clubs earlier, Cassidy. So, man, it's so good to see you. So good to see your career and your journey and your trajectory. I'm always so very proud of you, my friend. The question I have, I'm always curious about how you curate your lineup. I always feel like there seems to be like a theme. I feel like every artist kind of just represents it so well. So I'm just curious about how you think about your lineups.
Well, I think there's many factors that goes into the curation, whether we're talking about the homegrown episodes of Pass the Mic or the television episodes of Pass the Mic or the live arena shows or Dick Clark's New Year's Rockin' Eve or NBA All-Star Weekend or Valentine's Day at the Kia Forum. For this upcoming show on Valentine's Day featuring Ja Rule, Ashanti, Busta Rhymes, Lil' Kim, Fabulous, Maya, En Vogue, and of course, always special surprise guests.
That's right.
I really wanted to call artists that had been a part of the journey. You know, first time here, artists that had been a part, whether it was the homegrown shows or the TV shows, artists who had really been a part of the journey, because that really takes the synergy and the collaborative energy and the camaraderie to a whole other stratosphere. I also wanted the show to represent hip-hop and R&B, that cross-section, that beautiful cross-section that has been so important to pop culture over the past 30-plus years. I wanted the music, whether hip-hop or R&B, to exude feelings of love, particularly not only because love is at the heart of Pass the Mic and the celebration, but because it's Valentine's Day. And what I learned early on in the curation of Pass the Mic is you start with a vision, you start curating, and the vision evolves. The vision is never what it was on day one. The vision evolves, and you have to be open to follow the universe. And it took me a minute at the beginning to realize that, and that really became part of the beauty and the fun of the process.
It constantly changes. You don't know where it's going to go, right? And then what you end up with turns out to be perfect.
I'll tell you something. The 10th episode of the show, the grand finale on BET in 2023, I had decided before the show aired that it was going to be my last. I wanted to go out with a bang, and it was time to take it on the road. Never in my wildest dreams did I imagine that Ice Cube would ever take part in a show. I'd never met Ice Cube. I didn't think Ice Cube knew my name. And one thing led to another, and Ice Cube was the last artist that I filmed to be on the last episode of the series. And that's the best representation of you go where the universe takes you, because I didn't even think when I started that episode that I would have the audacity to reach out. And he closed it in the most perfect way. Couldn't have scripted it if I tried.
Yeah, man. Salute to Cube, too. Hit in that gang. How was that, bro?
That was good. That was a good impression.
You mean there's snakes in that there pond?
Oh my gosh.
Here we go,
man.
Here we go.
It's Friday, yo. It's about to be a snowstorm.
I can't.
All right, hold on. One last question. One last question, all right? Tracy, take us away. One last question. Go ahead, Tracy.
Yes. Well, Cassidy, everybody knows your name, okay, bro? You're trusted by legends.
Well, I don't know everybody.
You're trusted by presidents. I feel like when you become Barack Obama's personal DJ through all the years, it just puts you on a completely different level. You're one of the most respected selectors in the game, so I definitely want to honor you in that way. So let's say, Cassidy, that you have two DJs in front of you. One DJ is immensely talented, but they're struggling with visibility. The other DJ also has immense talent, also has their branding down, but because there are so many opportunities coming that DJ's way, they're experiencing burnout. What advice would you give to both of them?
Wow. Okay. Amazing question. So the first DJ, extremely talented, but feeling like they're not receiving the exposure that they want or need, right?
Their marketing is a little wobbly.
Right. I would advise that DJ to be as true to themselves as possible. Drop all innate tendencies to cater to others. And in that moment, try to find what is most unique about yourself. Is it a certain type of music that you love that not everyone loves, but because you love it more, you will play it better than anyone else? Is it a sense of fashion? Is it something you love to wear that you might be afraid to wear when you're in the booth that you can channel? What is it about you in an isolated vacuum, just for 1 minute, that is most unique? And is there a way to harness that when you're behind the turntables in front of people? And that might be the one thing that draws people to you and gains the attention that you were looking for. The second DJ, extremely talented, getting a lot of exposure, but getting a little burnt out, overworked. How do you keep it special? I think how do you keep something you love that is also your job special is a challenge that all entertainers probably feel at some point or another, right? You're doing well, you're getting booked, you're killing it, but you're feeling like it's suddenly a job. How do you keep it special? How do you keep the fun alive? I think it's important to find that thing. It could be a once a week. It could be a once a month. It could be a once a year. What's that party you're going to DJ? What's that podcast you're going to do and not care if anyone listens? What's that one mix you're going to put on SoundCloud and tweet it and post it on Instagram and not really care if it gets 1 million views? What's that one thing you're going to do on a regular basis, no matter how often or how or how seldom you do it, that's gonna relight that fire.
Yeah.
So that you can keep going, keep your exposure going, keep the job going, keep the hustle going, but still wake up feeling that burn that you felt when you were a kid and got no money for your passion and got no recognition. You know, I always channel the 10-year-old me in my bedroom at my father's house with my crates of records and my dusty T-shirts. And every weekend, my dad would take me downtown to the record stores in New York to go vinyl shopping. Those were the greatest days of my DJing, when there was no responsibility, when there was no audience, when there was no one you were trying to impress.
Mm-hmm. That's what you would tell him.
That's what I would tell him.
Great prescription.
DJ Cassidy, man. Give this man a big round of applause. It's always a joy to have him come up. Every time he comes up, Mike, I got to add about 4 or 5 things to his list of accomplishments, man.
That part, man.
The intro takes up half the interview now.
I want to thank you all. I want to thank you all, Sway, Heather, Mike, everyone on this team for having me. There's really nowhere else that captures the essence of what I do quite like this. And forget about feeling loved. I feel like you guys appreciate what I do in such a special way, and it's important to tell you all that I appreciate what you do in a special way, and I don't take sitting here lightly.
Yeah.
I was up early this morning.
Came very early.
Exercising my vocal cords, taking a shower, getting dressed, putting on my Lakers jacket because I'm in the spirit of this upcoming show. I wanted to be ready and prepared to be here because, not just shows, interviews too.
Yeah.
I treat everyone like it's the first and last. You might never have another opportunity to speak to a global audience about hip hop and R&B culture. So I take it all very seriously. I invite you all to come see the show on Valentine's Day, Saturday, February 14th. At the Kia Forum, formerly the Fabulous Forum.
That's right.
It couldn't be a more legendary place to be bringing past the mic. The lineup is epic. The show will be epic. 3 hours of continuous, cohesive music and a roller coaster ride of the soundtrack of your life.
Yes.
That you will never quite experience in this way anywhere else. So be there, Valentine's Day, Kia Forum, Pass the Mic Live.
Ashanti, Busta Rhymes, In Vogue, Fabulous, Ja Rule, Lil Kim, Maya, special guest, Chrissy B will be there.
There with my date.
Yes.
All right.